Today, the Freedom Convoy protest organizers arrested in Ottawa, and a dude swimmer destroys the women because he can't compete with his own kind. We've got all that and more coming up, and it all starts right now. Happy Friday. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, and I hope that you're watching this on YouTube. My producer just told me in my ear after that intro that we were going to get the video pulled for sure off of YouTube. But you know what? I got to report the truth either way. I don't give a crap.
No, it's not going to get pulled, Sarah, because
Alex
first of all,
here.
listen, I know, I have to cut you off. Don't even give me, it's not going to get pulled because Lia Thomas is the greatest athlete of all time. She is the Jackie Robinson. No, seriously.
I will come at
because
you,
listen,
buddy.
let me tell you why she's a better athlete than Jackie Robinson.
Can I, Alex Stein, host of Conspiracy Castle,
Where's
Jakob
the she?
Williams,
Where's
host
the
of The
she?
Bottom Line.
The reason why she is the best athlete of all time
Here we
because sports integrated way earlier than it got transintegrated.
You know what I want to do on the show real quick? Pull the men's record. Pull the men's record. Show this new record that She-Man did. Okay, and then you go, oh, that's right. Wouldn't even make it onto the podium. Yes, thank you for having us on the show.
Yeah, hi.
And I give a
Well, we have to
to
do this for the censorship, guys. YouTube is crazy, so I'm defending Lia Thomas. I just want to YouTube, if you're listening, Lia Thomas is the greatest athlete of all time. We're so grateful for her
and that is what a cop-out looks like, right there. That's a cop-out statement.
But that's for the censors. That's for the technocrats.
I don't care about the technocrats.
No, okay, so really, let's talk about this then. We'll get to Canada, but let's talk about this now that it is front and center of our show. The transgender female, I get you get hate mail, whatever you say. So, born a dude, identifies as a woman. I just like to say shim because it covers like all of the bases. But Lia Thomas has, of course, destroyed the competition at the Ivy League Championships, winning the 500 free by more than 7 seconds. Here's the tweet from Penn Swimming and Diving. This is Penn State. Lia Thomas is the Ivy League champion in the 500 free. Her time of 4 minutes, 37 seconds, and 32 milliseconds is a new pool record. Catherine Burker finishes in second. Which really actually technically should be first, I believe, because Catherine over there is the one who is an actual female. The other one is just pretend. Oh, darn it,
no,
Alex, did I?
No, she's not pretend. She's had gender reassignment medicine, hormone blockers. That's what they take. They take for 30. Okay, but listen, this is what happens with Lia Thomas. This is why it's really bad. This is
take a little bit of Lupron. Yeah, the same drug that they give to men with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
To sterilize them.
But on a serious note, this is why it's bad because Catherine does get second place, and we know that Lia Thomas, even though is taking 36 months of gender reassignment medicine that puts her testosterone levels at, I guess, whatever level that dictates her to be a female, it just stinks for the person that gets second place. That's why it's so.
This was my award. This was my award.
And scholarship and all. Producers, can you help me out real quick? What was that time? Give me that time real quick.
It was. Can we pull that? Yeah, pull that sheet back up.
I just want to give the audience
4 minutes, 37.
All right. Lia Thomas shatters the Ivy League record with 7 seconds from 4:34 to 4:37. Let me show you the men's record. This is why Lia wants to swim against the women. Here's the men's record from the same meet. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. She hasn't even made the turn on the last lap and the men's done. That's why he is swimming as a she against the women because he wouldn't even be on the podium.
So you bring up a great point because, and I tweeted this out earlier, but I just can't wrap my brain around it. If we keep hearing that trans people don't have rights, which I would love to know what rights they don't have, and no one really can explain that to me. But if it is, in fact, that they are fighting for equal rights, so they say, why wouldn't they just want their own league?
Give them a league.
Why wouldn't they want that?
Yes.
100%.
I mean, you can't help but think if that's really what you wanted, you would want your own league. If that's not what you wanted, you actually really do want to erase and replace women, then you're gunning for them, which is what we see happening.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, I mean,
said.
I talk about this all the time. It's kind of like there is a transgender agenda, whether you want to put on your tinfoil hat or not. It's like you look at in the Olympics this year, they had Laurel Hardy, who is another transgender Olympic. So basically, even if you ask the gay community, the amount of people that have actually had the gender reassignment surgery now in the 2020s compared to like the 90s and 80s and 70s, is up like literally like a million percent or something. So there is some sort of subconscious drive that is encouraging young people at a young age to say, hey, you know, you're gender fluid. You don't even have a gender. So it's like people that trust the science the most, and science is going to save us, are the people that deny the biological science of people's sexes. So that's like the upside down. And the kids, Hako, you know, are the biggest ones and the easiest to manipulate.
Yeah, but here's the deal too. The irony is the very community that says, look, we're about inclusion and we're about opportunity, is literally stripping women from opportunity.
100%.
Is literally putting women down. Create your own league. And let's have 3 world records. And then if you want to decide that the 3 champions have a swim-off, the guy's going to win again, then you go have a swim-off.
Right.
Okay, but have your own league.
Yeah, because you can't say that it's discriminatory to not allow them in, because it's for the same reason that women are not racing with men, right? I mean, you've already got those subsets, so why wouldn't you want your own? Right.
Well, and you know, this is all you have to do.
It's an anti-female. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, guys, but the second you don't hear often, it's easy to be a man. A woman, it's easy to be a man. You hear, it's easy to be a woman. It's degrading.
Oh, it sure ain't.
I don't know if that's true. Yeah,
they do say that all the time.
It's hard to be a woman and a man, but regardless.
It's impossible for a guy to be a. I say that.
Oh, yeah, not that they
show
can
me
dress
your
in.
uterus.
No, I'm just
You
saying.
push a baby out of
every day.
You push a baby out of you.
Yes,
then
biologically, I'm saying. But this
Then
is
let's
the
talk.
point I want to make, though. Is this is how we know Lia Thomas is bad. If you ask her teammates hate it, and that's what this sport is about. Sport is about your teammates. So, like, if you alienate the people that you're supposed to have your back the most, then you, in my opinion, you're doing something wrong. You know, it's kind of like the team diva, and that is what Lia Thomas has done. She's like the diva wide receiver. Even though it's swimming, she's getting all the attention, and all of her teammates are getting second place that earned it.
But it's scholarship too. You know how difficult it is, because you know, by schools like Vanderbilt only has a women's track team, not a men's track team, because they get so many scholarship per sport, so many sports. So these Ivy League schools, it's really hard to get those scholarships. If there's a full ride scholarship for a swimmer, there's only so many of them on the team, and now all of a sudden it's going to Lia. It's not just the medal at the event. It's a life course. It's the great swimmer that swam through high school. And swimmers invest time. They're in the pool 5 o'clock in the morning. They put 5 hours a day in the water, and all of a sudden they go, sorry, you didn't get your scholarship because she-man over there decided to swim on this team. Give the people their own league.
I have to believe too that it wouldn't be hard for her to alienate herself from her teammates, because I just feel like just by way of her being on the team, I say her, I got it, it's a he, all right, but you know, just by way of him being on the team, it's like,
I mean, look at the
I'm
shoulder
pissed if
structure.
I'm there and I'm, as Yaku said, waking up at 5 a.m. Every morning to try to be my best and practice for this competition, and then I have some dude showing up who wants to show us all up, like, I'm pissed.
It gets worse, Sarah. Did you know there's reports that other teammates complain that Lia would change in front of them, and Lia still has her male gender or male genitalia. This is a fact. Google it right now. Lia Thomas teammates complain.
Assault.
That's what I think. I think that's a little. And in a locker room, it's weird. You're supposed to be naked. It's kind of a weird dynamic. But for you to be a different sex, that makes the dynamic already weird and awkward.
Yeah.
Like the locker room's already kind of awkward.
Look at the rape cases where institutions that allow this to happen, particularly child rape on child rape.
And Lia Thomas is still attracted to women, I believe. Yes, I believe Lia Thomas is a lesbian.
Yes, that he is still attracted to women.
So she's getting naked in her locker room with the women that she's attracted to. It makes sense, and you know what? You know what makes the most sense?
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm from South Africa. I'm sorry, America. I bleed red, white, and blue, but I am royally, and you know I don't cuss, but I am royally pissed. Okay, that we are tolerating this crap, man. We are degrading a whole culture of women where they have you might as well just not matter, because we can just flip-flop. Hey, okay, so if a hot girl walks in there naked, Lia goes, hey, this is a prospect.
Well, she doesn't have to flip.
That's an opportunity.
She's a lesbian with a penis, so she doesn't. She gets to be normal.
We used to have straight jackets for this kind of stuff.
Well, that's
and loony
true.
bins. We used
That's
to.
True.
Well, Halko, you know, in the 60s, I believe you'd have to get like a doctor's permission to get a facial tattoo, and now every kid in the world has a facial tattoo.
Don't you love how he calls me Hako? How he makes me Spanish?
What?
I'm Spanish. I'm Spanish. This.
Is it not Jaco?
It's Jaco.
No, but
Jaco.
it's okay. But
Well,
it's
I'm
okay.
from Jaco. I always say Jaco. I guess it's Jaco. Excuse me.
I'm Spanish.
He's used to
I'm
all
Mexican.
of the illegal immigrants coming over.
That's right.
from the
Jaco.
border,
I
so.
say Jaco.
Hey, listen, I am from south of the border, just way south.
You're way south of the border. Well, the only place I've ever been in Costa Rica, you say
This
Jaco.
show has lost its wheels.
No, this is a good
Sarah,
show.
take control back.
No. Okay.
Friday.
Jaco, excuse me.
Okay, I don't
We're
care, I
having
don't
the
mind.
beef. I like it already. It's
I
good
don't
for
mind.
the entertainment. Already, this is the debate show. It's the Jaco, it's Jaco in Primetime 99 debate. And Sarah has to make sure we don't kill each other. Because I'm pro Lia Thomas. I think that it's fine she's a lesbian with a penis. As a matter of fact, I think we need more lesbians with penises.
No.
And Jaco wants less lesbians with penis.
No.
Jaco.
Jaco.
Absolutely wants less lesbians with penises. Okay.
Okay, we're
I
going off the
prefer my
rail.
penises to be on men.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make me?
Amen.
Does that make
One
me
man.
old-fashioned?
One
Is
man.
that too
I'm
old-fashioned?
gonna fight for my dude. I'm gonna fight for Steven. Steven, you're like no other, buddy. One man. One
Yes.
woman.
Well-
By God. Yes.
I just, it makes me feel like such a fuddy-duddy to say. I just think penises belong to men. That's just controversial.
Controversial.
It's controversial these days.
I'll allow it just because.
It's controversial these days. All right. So before we go to break, I do want to get your thoughts on. Previously in the week, we discussed the transition closet that was happening in an Oakland school district. So Alex, if you missed this was it's for children who identify as a different gender, but they don't want to tell their parents. So they go to school, and the school has a transition closet for them. So they walk into the closet, and they can change from their clothes that they wore to school. So they don't alert their parents to the fact that they are identifying as a different gender. And of course, the teachers don't tell the parents because they're in on it. And so this is what we are faced with. I just feel like, how is this still happening when they saw what happened in Virginia, when we just saw what happened in San Francisco, in deep blue San Francisco, the school board, they recalled 3 of their members by overwhelming, it was like 70% was like the lowest percentage. So overwhelming margins. When are they gonna get a clue?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that they kind of want their kids to. It is a perfect example. They have the transition closet, but now they're getting legislation where 13-year-olds can get vaccinated without parent consent.
Yeah.
So it's like they want to make a kid, they want to take away the parents' control of a kid and make the school in control. So at school, it's okay to transition. Oh, you have to lie to your parents, but here you can be yourself. Oh, your parents might not want you to get the vaccine, but just come over here with your teacher. So yeah, I mean, it's literally the takeover of our youth. And I think the transition closet is a perfect example. No parent in their right mind would be okay with a teacher deciding what kind of clothes their kid can wear.
I think you could, and I agree with you that it is the school, but I think you could also change that back and forth with just saying the state, right? The state thinks that they have a right to your children.
If you've ever wondered whether our children are being coerced, so in sex trafficking, in prostitution, it's forced fraud coercion. The schools and the states are coercing kids into questioning gender. They are literally feeding them this. And you plant a seed in a child's mind, that seed's gonna grow. All you need to do is feed it. So it's by no happenstance or chance that you're seeing all the gender confusion and the transitions and all this stuff. They're being coerced. And now they're telling a child to lie to his parent. They're encouraging a child. So they're driving a wedge between the child and the parent. Why? Because the state wants to be in charge of the children and not the parent.
Yeah. Thank you for that opinion, Jaco. We've got more to come. First, we want
Donato.
Jaco, I know it. Listen, I don't speak Spanish very well, and I don't speak South African either. So
South African.
You know what I mean?
We're at a bang-up start
T-Mobile,
here.
the only
linguist.
Christian conservative.
No, Patriot Mobile.
Patriot Mobile. The only
Okay,
Christian
all right.
conservative network.
All right, I got this. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So, look, in case you haven't noticed, just by listening to this last segment, there is a full-scale assault on your right to speak the truth. You've got YouTube, you've got Spotify. The left is obviously waging a war on your speech with the help of big tech and the United States government. But there are some companies that still stand with you. They support you. They believe in the Constitution. That is why I am proud to partner with Patriot Mobile. They are America's only conservative Christian cell phone provider. It's 2022. Okay, so they offer the same nationwide coverage that all of the other carriers offer. They're all sharing the same towers. In case you didn't realize how that works, it's the same towers, and Patriot Mobile shares them as well. They've got really, really, really great plans. They can fit any budget, and they support the causes that you also do. So if you are with any other cell phone provider, you are taking a portion of your hard-earned money that you go to work every day and you work hard for, and you are giving it to a company that is donating it to places like Planned Parenthood and Everytown, these places that want to take your guns, take your freedoms. Don't do that anymore. Go to Patriot Mobile. You can go to patriotmobile.com/news. Get free activation with the offer code NEWS. By the way, if you're a veteran or first responder, they have special discounts on top of their already reasonably priced plan. So you got to go there. It is patriotmobile.com/news. I was just saying off air, I need a whistle, I think, to referee you guys.
I like the friendly rivalry. It kind of reminds me of like those ESPN shows where they debate sports, but we're going to debate the news. I like it. It's
I don't actually know. I don't know any ESPN show that still debates sports.
Yeah, I know they don't.
they don't talk about sports at all. I think they just talk about the same issues that we are, except you listen to us instead, because who wants to listen to a bunch of ESPN talking heads talking about the things that actually matter? So let's switch gears to Canada. Ottawa police surged their numbers into downtown area of the nation's capital, Ottawa, yesterday. They started yesterday. They are still going into it today as law enforcement prepare to push out the Freedom Convoy protesters who have sat in. Of course, if you listen to Justin Trudeau, if you listen to these people, they are telling you that these are violent insurrectionists. They are racists. They are Nazis. They are, insert phobic here, but really these are nonviolent protests and protesters who have engaged in these nonviolent protests for the last 3 weeks. So law enforcement is passing around written warning for the second consecutive day. They're ordering protesters to, quote, leave the area now, end quote, and they're threatening potential arrest on a charge of mischief, they say, and they have sanctioned off a security area around Parliament Hill, which is encircling the protest area and checkpoints to prevent anyone without an approved reason, they say, from entering the area. And just being like a free being is not actually one of those approved reasons. They also have a security fence around the parliament. So on top of that, you guys, it is getting very tense over there. They are starting to not only arrest the protesters, but also the organizers of this entire thing. Yeah. So they had Tamara Lick, they have Chris Barber, I believe is his name. There are several arrests that have been made of the actual organizers. But let's listen to first, I want to play a couple clips for you. Number one is Tamara herself, which is, again, one of the original organizers of this convoy. Let's listen to her talking about, I think she knew that this was coming, and she wanted to make sure that everyone knew that she was okay with it and that she was not afraid and to stand strong. Watch.
There's a pretty good chance. Well, I think it's inevitable at this point. But I'll probably be going somewhere tomorrow where I'll be getting 3 square meals a day. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. And I want you to know that I'm not afraid.
And then so she went on to say, hey, maybe I'll probably get some sleep finally. So she's trying to put a silver lining on this. And then, of course, there came yesterday when she was actually arrested. We have that moment. Watch.
Just back up, guys. Thank you.
My coat's
me
wet.
too. And me. It's wet?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Sean Titan. I'm not here to arrest you, Sean. Well, you will be.
It's me.
What's that? Because I'm reading next there.
So, really evil things going on right now in Ottawa with this. And I would just like to add into the conversation here, we did have Benjamin Dichter, who we have had on the program before. He was scheduled to join us remotely. He had to cancel at the last minute because of all of these arrests, because the police, law enforcement have been ramping up their attacks on these nonviolent protesters. So he was unable to join us. We do, of course, we are thinking of him and praying for his safety because we know that it's getting rough out there, guys.
No, it's getting really sick. This is how sick the Canadians are being, the Canadian government. Right now in Ottawa, if you have a pet and you're a protester, they will impound your pet. And if you don't get your pet within 8 days, it will be euthanized.
I'm like, that's waging war against your citizens. The moment you come out against people's children and their pets.
It's just ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, as a pet lover, I mean, what is that other than cruel? I mean, I get it. They want people to leave. They're trying to, you know, whatever they're trying to do. The government is going to create, they're a fascist government regardless. Canada kind of always has been. It's kind of always has been a socialist place. But regardless, I get that they're trying to come up with creative techniques, but they're trying to take away people's dogs. That's evil. That's sick. That's based in like this almost hatred for your own citizens. And I think that's what Justin Trudeau actually thinks. And it's very similar, I always say, to January 6th. They think those people that are in federal prison are actually terrorists. And they compare them, like I said before, to Pearl Harbor and 9/11. And these people in Canada, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's no way a racist insurrection. It is people that want medical freedom, basically. That's it.
Yeah.
And for them, that's too much to ask. They got to go.
And I want to add to this conversation, just for clarification purposes, Chris Barber, what he was charged with was counseling to commit mischief, obstruction, and counseling to commit obstruction. Tamara has been charged with counseling to commit mischief. So, I mean, they are like really reaching for these charges.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the mischief charge, or the penalty was for mischief maybe a year and a half ago, and see if they're actually going to give her that penalty or if they're going to tack on to it. You know, okay, so you're going to arrest her for mischief. Let's say it was, 2 weeks in jail and some community service or whatever. I want to see that, right? Because that's going to show the nefarious nature of what they're doing. Look, they created this monster. And you can't, when you create a problem, then be the one on the hill yelling, we got a problem when you created it. You've oppressed your people. You've taken their voice. You being all the leaders of the world through COVID, our leadership, you have done this. You've woken people up, not woke culture, but truly woken them up to say, hey, my life, my choice. And now that people are just standing for the right to choose and the freedom of like HIPAA laws being violated in America, just the medical freedom, now all of a sudden they're terrorists and you're labeling them. You know someone has lost a fight when they go outside the rules of the fight. When you start going after their children and their dogs, this to me, as a combat lover, this shows that the Canadian government knows they're losing the battle, so they're resorting to dirty tactics. This is when you take a knife to a fist fight or something like that. They're going to dirty tactics because they know within the law, actually, these people are not breaking the law. Yeah, they're not.
Isn't it interesting, too, that Justin Trudeau calls it a small fringe minority?
Yeah.
It's so small fringe that they have
now
to
he
pull
wants
out all of these
emergency
big
powers.
guns. Yeah.
Hey, I want to say this. I think Benito Mussolini defined fascism, I believe, as the merger of corporation and state. And that's what's happening in Canada. It's basically they have merged with these corporations, the pharmaceutical corporations, and basically they're running the show in Canada. And so now this is a peeing match, lack of a better word, between the Canadian citizens and the government. Because if he gives in, if Justin Trudeau gives in, then all those corporate backers, those are the people that are pushing Trudeau to say, 100%. Your citizens are not important.
But this is China, right? So when
this
you
is
think
China.
So you think of a guy owning a steel company in China. He doesn't own it. Sinto Steel really owns it, which is the Chinese government. And they'll give him some freedom, but they'll dictate to him what he's going to do or not do. Trudeau is just running a company.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just running a company, and he has a board of directors that's pressuring him, saying, we put you here for a reason, so that when this day comes, you dance. Puppet, you'll dance. And this is Joe Biden.
I was going to say, how's that any different from
They
America?
give us the illusion of freedom.
And so it's PPPs, it's public-private partnerships in America that is happening. It's no different than America. And it's no different than what's happening in Australia and New Zealand. And all these places, the people are finally saying, wait, hold up. Enough is enough, right? And all of a sudden they want to cry, because people are saying enough is enough, because they're so used to people just bending the knee.
Well,
He's bending the knee.
The multinational companies, the Apples that operate in all over the world, they will destabilize America in order to gain more power. So that's why they want to take away the citizens' power so they can gain more global dominance. And it's very obvious.
It's one world order. Yeah.
It is. And people don't want to see it. They don't realize that, like I said, you and I, we could never get anything passed, any legislation, but a company can basically get anything done. And these companies, they don't have the empathy. They're not able to feel empathetic to homeless people. That's why they got to build a building and move homeless people out. So the human being nature of our politicians is gone. They're all run by political action committees that are basically robotic companies that pay these people to make decisions that are not in our best interest.
Well, the end justifies the means, and that's political power.
Yeah.
To them.
All right, we've got more to come, but first we want to thank our sponsor, Built Bar. So, guys, have you ever tried Built Bar, Alex?
I haven't. Well, tell me all about Built Bar.
Okay,
I
listen. Well, I am known as the Built Bar dealer in the building, which We had Attorney General.
Oh, Built
Ken
Bar, yes, the
Paxton
bar,
on.
yes, of course. And how many Built Bars did he eat? I'm gonna eat a
Well,
bunch of Built Bars.
I was like, I feel like I'm in trouble if I say like I'm the Built Bar dealer. I need to be very careful
With the
what I say in
AG,
front of the
you
AG, the
can-
Texas AG. I'm going to get arrested as soon as I leave the building. But it's not
Performance
illegal.
enhancing. No,
yes, it's
performance
not illegal.
enhancers.
That's the good thing is that it is not illegal to eat a Built Bar. They are actually covered in 100% chocolate, and they are a protein bar, so they are healthy. You've got the high protein, you've got the low calories, the low sugar, the low carbs, but the high protein, the high fiber. So you're going to feel like you're cheating on your diet, but you're not. Built Bar is going to keep you on track. I've heard from so many of you who have tried them. By the way, they have mint puffs, I believe, still available right now. The puff is the marshmallow consistency bar that they have, and they are all freaking amazing. Okay, I'm just telling you, you will not regret it. Yaku's had them.
Absolutely.
They
I'm about
are
to go Built Bar
amazing.
nuts when I leave here.
I've got a bunch
I'm
of-
gonna
I've
stuff
got a
a
bunch
bunch
in my
of Built
dressing
Bars.
room.
I'm gonna have them in my pockets. I'm gonna go Built Bar nut. I'm
got
gonna
it.
eat them all.
I'll
This
get
is
you-
the
I'll get you
addictive
set up.
personality of Alex, right? So you just literally became his.
Because I want the
chocolate
mint.
crack
Because I want a
dealer.
marshmallow mint, so I'm
Oh
gonna have to
God,
put the
here we go.
marshmallow one with the mint
They
one.
have a mint marshmallow
Oh, okay,
one.
they're perfect. Okay,
it's
yeah,
mint
yeah, yeah.
puffs.
Okay, yeah.
And but I looked and I saw the email and I was like, oh my God, I need to go online and order it before they run out because this sounds amazing. They've got a mint puff. So make sure that you go, okay, and get the mint puffs. It is built.com. Use promo code NEWS15. You'll save 15%. That is built.com. YouTube has strict community guidelines over what we can and cannot say about COVID-19 vaccines and treatments. If YouTube deems we've somehow violated these guidelines, we risk YouTube cutting off our ability to communicate to you. With that said, the discussions which follow are not meant to provide medical advice. Please seek the advice of local health officials for any COVID-19 and or COVID vaccine related questions and concerns. Remember way back when, about 2 years ago, when we sat at this table, Yaku, I'm sure you were part of this conversation. We sat at this table and we talked about how the constant wearing of masks would impact children.
I was
and
there.
one of those ways that it would impact children would be that they would not be able to learn how to speak as quickly, that they would be behind, because how are you supposed to learn how to speak when your teacher has something covering their face up to their eyeballs, and a lot of other things, right? But speech, one of those things. Well, you'll be shocked to hear that the CDC just lowered the standards for speech in early childhood development. Now, children should know 50 words it used to be 24 months, now it is 30 months. So just very slowly, quietly, but very deliberately lowering those standards. And by the way, so that it doesn't show up in anything,
Right.
there will be no one outside of the norm because they've just changed the norms. So that's fine. I mean, similar to changing the definition of vaccine and all of these other things that they
Racism.
have done. Yes, racism, all of these other things that they've done to rewrite history so that you can't say that anything bad is happening. Nothing wrong is happening. All the kids are fine. All the kids are not all right. All right.
Well, the problem is, as human beings, one of the ways you communicate is nonverbal communication.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just look, we just smile. It's a kind of a friendly way. You know, it's like when you're driving in a car, sometimes you lift it. If you're in Texas, you might lift your fingers up. But I'm saying that mask in school all day, you're not able to smile at your classmates. So you have this disconnection, and now we're with a computer screen. So it's like now they have the metaverse that they're trying to push us into. They really are encouraged to do that because as human beings, you're kind of scared. Am I going to get a virus as a young kid? You know, maybe I should put on my mask. So it's a deliberate plan to encourage kids basically not to verbalize with each other, and it worked perfectly.
And we're going to have a lot of germaphobes, I think,
Yeah.
as they grow
It's gonna
older.
have- yeah, absolutely. And they're going to get really sick because their natural immunity will not work. But kids that age, I've got 3 under the age of 7, they are visual learners.
Yeah.
So where they learn to speak by watching your mouth and how you shape sound,
Yeah.
right? And I have an accent in my house, so the kids will pick up on that because they can see how you shape sound, and they can't at the moment. So of course they're going to fall behind. And then we just look at statistics. Talk to Jack Brewer. It's looking at the massive decline in literacy in young black men. 12 years old having a 3rd grade reading level. This is going to decimate that. You're going to have high schoolers that can't read what we would consider a decent reading of a 3rd grade level because they're not forming and they're being encouraged not to be smart. So you lower the bar and now no one aspires higher, right? But they won't do that where there's money to be made. There they raised the bar.
Right.
Well, I think they're going to just keep, moving the field goals posts, as they say, so that more kids can be eligible to move up in grades, because they don't want just kids held back, because these kids aren't going to be able to read, like you said. And so that's why they're doing the testing. I mean, they're changing the levels at an early age, maybe to kind of hide it in some sort of way. But you can just tell from this COVID epidemic. Can you imagine being a senior football player and I'm just talking about from my experience, losing your senior year of football that you'll never get back because of the flu. And whether it's, like I said, I've lost people that I love from it. So it is, something bad. But your youth, your football years is the only thing you have. And as a kid, you only have 1 8th grade. You only have 1 6th grade. You only have 1 4th grade. And that whole grade, all those memories are gone because you had to hide behind a mask.
It's called core memories. And and there's certain things that create core memories, right? And this generation, you're touching on something, so we can have a whole show on this. This is the Generation Z they're most informed, but they create the least amount of core memories. So you and your dad walking out, standing in the rain, throwing football in the rain, right? You'll never forget it. It's a core memory.
Yeah.
It anchors you to certain things, and you always go back to that as centered, like, that felt great. That felt like real attention from my dad. They're not making core memories because everything changes every day. It's like, well, yesterday this was the norm, today it's not. So it's super detrimental to their future.
Well, speaking of masks, I want to play this for you guys. Earlier this week, there was a video that surfaced that went viral of a man getting kicked off of Allegiant Air. This is what his offense was. He actually, and you can't even hardly see it in the video. He was wearing a regular, one of those blue, I don't know that you would call them surgical, but the blue generic masks. And I guess he had written, "Let's go Brandon" on the mask, and the flight attendant was not putting up with that. Here's that exchange.
I'm going to ask you to wear different masks, please. Yeah, but can you tell me why exactly? Because of the comment that you've written on there?
Like you said, it's like a painter's mask. It doesn't even, it's not an official mask.
It's not even like a surgical.
So is that violation of my rights?
This is an FAA regulation, and I'm asking you.
So he was removed from the flight for wearing that. And she cited some, it's FAA standards, but I have yet to see Allegiant Air show us where that is in the FAA regulations. I think she was just very
So
mad.
what, can they tell you what brand of shirt to wear?
Well, I'd love to know if any Black Lives Matter people got kicked off for wearing.
But let
that's
me
a good
say this,
point.
guys, I love to joke around, but this is actually really sad because now flying, like you talk about those core memories, some of my core memories are traveling, going, getting on an airplane. Obviously, you've traveled internationally, those are some of your best memories. But this day and age, when you go on an airplane, they used to compare a Greyhound bus is rough. I think an airplane might be the roughest place on earth. You know what I mean? Like you're getting pictures of people duct taping each other on there because if you don't wear the right political mask, they're going to kick you off the plane. They're going to put you on a no-fly list. I would have never thought that the 9/11 no-fly list would be used on these American citizens for wearing a mask that says "Let's go Brandon" or that says, FJB, whatever stupid slogan they say. These people are not only sometimes getting kicked off the plane, they're getting put on no-fly list where they can't fly on that airline. They have to buy a ticket on a totally different airline or they can't fly at all. And this is over stupid stuff that's not even FAA regulation. So it's sad for me because I used to love to travel. Yeah. And now I don't want to travel at all because I don't want to have to go on an airplane and deal with some sort of Karen telling me, oh, you got to put on your mask the whole time. You got to do this. You're between bites. It's just they've made it a nightmare to do the things at one point were the most fun things in the world.
Yeah.
When do you think the airlines drop the mask? Because states are dropping it like crazy.
Well,
so
I'll tell you,
we
had Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton on, who is suing.
Yeah, he's suing.
He's suing the CDC for their overreach in making this mask
I also
mandate.
have to say he's a friend and he's an amazing AG. He's also the AG that has sued Joe Biden the most of any AG in
22
our
times.
country.
I found out.
Suits against Joe Biden.
Go Ken Paxton. He is great. But I mean, it does make you wonder because if this was, Alex, you pointed out earlier in the program that they like to throw the word science around. It's all about the science. If this was about the science and the data, an airplane is like one of the safest places you could be because the air is so freaking filtered.
Yeah, that's
fine.
The airline was yelling that the whole pandemic. They're like, no, it's safe because they don't want their airlines to.
Please fly. Please buy a ticket.
But they're going to be
subsidized. Don't wear that brand. So what if someone comes up with a clothing brand and it's literally, Let's Go Brandon is the actual name of the brand.
You're not
and they say, you can't get on this
wear that
plane.
brand.
No,
I'm sorry.
Unless
your brand owner kissed the ring, you can't wear the brand.
I feel like probably a couple times, just a few times, there have been people who have worn Black Lives Matter or LGBTQ gear that have been totally fine and not talked to at all.
Of course.
You know.
I mean, but it's
Last word.
And we know hypocrisy exists, and we know that they're only going to usually target one side when it comes to this social justice fight. But really and truly, like the social justice fight on an airplane is not real. You know what I mean? They're trying to, like, literally, that woman is trying to fight social justice by telling this guy to take a mask off.
Right.
That's where we're at. That's how these social justice warriors think they're fighting the social justice war. And it's terrible, and it's really a travesty.
Well, also, if COVID was so dangerous, why would you want to put someone at risk by asking them to take their mask off and put another one on?
Because it's not about
It's
the
just
mask.
optics.
It's about her
the
own.
mask.
I don't even
optics.
know if that's Allegiant or just her personal.
Oh,
That's her personal.
It's her personal.
That's
I don't
her
think
personal,
it's Allegiant. Now, but I will say, I need to
You
go
should
back
be
and
fired.
look. I need to go back and look and see if they have said anything that I've missed. But last time I checked, they had not.
There's no statement.
Yeah, and I'd like to hear a strong statement coming from the airline saying that was her, that is not representative of us. All right, we've got to take a break. First, we want to thank our sponsor, mygotodoc.com. So you guys are always asking us, how can I find a doctor online that I can trust? They're going to be a COVID expert, and they're going to get me the right prescriptions, not just a prescription factory, though. And more so, where can I find a pharmacy who is actually going to take these prescriptions and fill them without questioning me or canceling the prescription or anything like that? You got to go to mygotodoc.com. All right, this is look, Omicron is milder than Delta, and if you look at the science, you look at the data, the pandemic should be over soon, but we also have the left in charge. So who knows when they are actually going to determine that we are over with it. But Dr. Saeed Haider has built something over at mygotodoc.com that you need to know about for 3 reasons. Number 1, he is a COVID expert. This is all he does. He's treated over 40,000 patients with 0 deaths. Number 2, you can register for free, ask questions, as many as you want, for as long as you want. And most importantly to me, they connect you to pharmacies that will ship you a full 28 doses of ivermectin for less than $150. I did it. It was very, very easy. I communicated with their doctor's office. I got them what they needed. They connected me with a pharmacy that got me what I needed. And I know that in the event that I get sick, I am protected. You got to go check them out. That is mygotodoc.com, mygotodoc.com. All right. Speaking of Black Lives Matter, we just mentioned that with the flights. Amazon has officially kicked Black Lives Matter off of its charity platform, Amazon Smile, after the company said that the progressive organization Black Lives Matter has not lived up to its standards as a charity in good standing, they said, after the group. I mean, we've seen all the headlines. We've talked about them here. Actually, we've talked about the way that they spend their money, Black Lives Matter, for a very long time here on this program, but they've come under fire in recent weeks for failing to properly disclose how they are spending the millions of dollars they have donated, that have been donated to them, rather, from individuals and groups and corporations. Now, I will say, certainly, that all of these donations have not gone at all to actually help the Black community. But you do see the founder buying multi-million-dollar homes. So I guess great for her. But very shocking, I think, personally, that Amazon would actually come out and take this stance. And by the way, those of you who don't know what Amazon Smile is, they donate like a 0.5%, I believe, of whatever your total bill is to the charity organization of your choice. Yeah. And now Black Lives Matter has been removed from that organization. I'd be scared if I was Amazon.
If the organization is vetted, you go through the vetting process and you qualify for Amazon Smiles. And of course, they qualified easy. But we had chapter leaders throughout the BLM movement. Chapter leaders started coming up and saying, hey, the organization does not support the chapters financially, but we're raising all these funds for them. We're campaigning on the ground and nothing's coming back. Within the BLM movement, even the local chapter organizers, as from, I think, day one, started saying, we're not seeing any resources coming down. So good on Amazon. I mean, you got to be pretty bad when Amazon turn on a group that they kind of supported and championed.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to get canceled next?
But look at this. Patricia Cullors, the leader of Black Lives Matter, she bought, $3.6 million in property in Atlanta. And then she bought property in a neighborhood in Los Angeles, in California, outside of Los Angeles, that was 98.7% white. and then the rest is mainly Asian. So these are the biggest hypocrites in the
Absolutely.
entire world. So you're right that it's good that they should be shut down, but I think it's almost a long time due, because I believe a lot of that money was funded to, you know, Joe Biden's campaign. Now, once again, that's a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, where did all this money go? It's just weird that like all that money that BLM raised was missing. So, I mean, I don't know if Joe Biden necessarily took it like that. I'm just saying all that money, all that goodwill that was given to the Black Lives Matter movement really went to the Democratic Party, in my opinion.
And then imagine how you feel if you are Black Lives Matter, because then you have the president who then 81 million votes, we know. He was the most popular president of all time, the best. Everyone loves him. But he gets into office, potentially with maybe some of that money, and he tells them, he's like, yeah, no, I'm
Because
okay.
Joe Biden doesn't care about black people. I mean, he eulogized Robert Byrd,
Wait,
a KKK
were you just
member.
Kanye West?
No, literally, I guess I was. But it's just, that's the thing, is Joe Biden will give you this impression. That's what they do. They placate the African-American community that has the lowest vaccine numbers, the ones that are going to be the most limited in the places where they have the vaccine passport. They don't care. So it literally, they give, that's why these people, and when I say these people, it's us, we need to take back the power, because we get marginalized by our race, by our sex, by our gender, by these politicians every day, and we let them, like I said, Joe Biden, I'm going to help black people, does nothing for them.
The entire Democratic Party.
Exactly.
I mean, look at those cities that have been run by Democrats for 50 years. Are black people better off now than they were 50 years ago? Absolutely not.
No, because this is the party that has historically targeted the black community for their own gain. They're the party that allowed Margaret Sanger to target the black community as a race that she wanted to extinguish. They're the same party that's disfranchising the black father from his home by incentivizing him to leave. They do not, they virtue signal, and it's also the party that has no footing unless they talk about race.
Well, you say Margaret Sanger too. Oh, sorry. You got to mention William Gates Sr., Bill Gates' dad, started with Margaret Sanger with Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so this party, they have nothing. This is why they induce race into every single
This is why I have you on, Alex.
Yeah,
conversation.
Well, he said Margaret Sanger. I just had to cut in because William Gates Sr., Bill Gates' dad, they founded Planned Parenthood together.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, not shocking at all. But all right, last word, Yaku.
They're terrible.
All right, well, that's succinct. We're going to take a break. We'll be back.
Yeah, the Margaret Sanger thing literally euthanized. But, you know, I like, for all my black friends now.
The latest on Russia and Ukraine. It seems to be getting pretty tense there. Some people are accusing, they're making accusations of a false flag. But again, I'm sure as of the time of this taping, something new will have happened by the time you are watching this. But as of the time of this taping, there was a wrecked vehicle close to the headquarters of the Donetsk People's Republic that had blasted, that had blown up. The cause of the blast was unclear at that time. There are Ukrainian officials who are saying they expect provocations from Russia in the separatist regions, and Biden will speak with his NATO allies about the Russia and Ukraine crisis today, they say, ahead of his afternoon remarks. So again, as of the time of this taping, we don't know what that conversation looks like, but it does appear that things are ramping up between Russia and Ukraine. I asked this of all of my guests on the program lately with this conflict. Should America be concerned?
We should be concerned, but this is not our fight. Yeah. NATO, step in. EU, step in. This is your continent. Ukraine is applying for status with you, NATO. You're about to give them status. They're applying for support, EU. You go and step in for once. UK, Boris, step in. All you other guys, Macron, you guys go step in and help here. This is not our fight. But I think you're looking at something here. You're going to see a major misstep by Joe Biden in this issue. You're going to see something.
Evergreen.
Well, I have to disagree. Listen, I don't want America involved at all. I want Kamala Harris not to worry about the Ukrainian border, to worry about the southern border. And I think I've said that before, but this is another thing. You look at the Ukrainians. They have Zelensky. They have a guy that's basically like an actor puppet that was on a TV show that they chose to be their president. And so, kind of similar to Trump.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not always a bad idea.
No, it's not that crazy. But what I'm saying is these people, the Ukrainians deserve respect. But at the end of the day, we are not their protector. It's not our responsibility.
We're not the world's police.
No, we're really not. And that's what we're doing. We're getting drawn into another geopolitical fight that we don't have a dog in. And Joe Biden, like you said, is going to end up looking stupid because he's looked stupid by Ukraine this whole time. And Putin, say what you will about him being a bad guy, killing people within his own country that, speak up against him. He's smart. smart.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, and he can play Joe Biden like a fiddle. And I think that's, when you say the false flag, I think this is just another way for the military-industrial complex to get a leg up on Joe Biden.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. So don't forget, follow Alex Stein. He is host of Conspiracy Castle. You can find it on YouTube. And Yaku Buyan's host of The Bottom Line. Have a great weekend.